Okay, I'm driving for this one, but, kind of this past week I've had time to kind of think about a couple things, and this is one of those things that I remembered that I might have been thinking about, and so I figure I'll thinking about that, So, I don't know, some people listening may be looking at doing a sales job, may be looking into, or many other things even, because there are a lot of things that this can apply to, not just sales, but this is kind of something more, how should I say, I guess vivid or detailable to me because of experience. And so when I was doing the door-to-door stuff, sometimes what I would do when I hit a spot where I just wasn't getting anything is I would kind of move to a different neighborhood or migrate my way back. So basically, usually I'd pick a spot that was closer to home, so I would slowly make my way home, but still continue to work as I did. And so the point that I started at would usually be the furthest one. So I'd start in a neighborhood, I'd kind of get a feel and a tap for it, and then I'd be like, okay, this one isn't doing so well today. And so I'd move on to a different spot, and then it's like, okay, I'm getting a little bit better here, and sometimes I'd finish off in that second spot. But there were times where I'd migrate to a third spot, and I'd work for about like 3 or 4 hours doing that. And so sometimes you just kind of hit that point where it's like nothing seems as ready as you'd like to for the day. And so sometimes you've got to kind of feel out a new place that might be a bit better. Another example would be tomatoes. Funny thing that is. The fact that for the, last couple of weeks, I've had moments where I've, started in a bad spot, and it's just, I kind of get going, and it's like, that's just too far to work for one box, half a bushel of tomatoes. And so, it'd be 2 or 3 boxes that I'd go through, half bushel boxes, and it'd be like, okay, that's taken a bit too long, and so I would basically move those boxes out to where they needed to be for pickup, and then I would go out and scout out a new area to pick at so that maybe I could find a better spot. And usually the second spot turned out quite a bit better than the first one. I mean, you still had those patches of bad spots, but it wasn't as big as before. And you kind of hit, as I go, I'll hit that same spot that I had skipped over, left just like a day before or 2 days before, and it's doing fine then. It's kind of the same way with working the doors. I'd hit a neighborhood, it just wouldn't do all that well, and so later on down the road I'd go back to it, and it just did the right thing. Sometimes it's the time of day or the day of the week, but you can usually, if given the right amount of time, you can usually find someone that will be a bit more ready or a bit more ripened, to take the tomato analogy a little further, so that you can do an efficient job. And I know sometimes some people, managers and what all, are afraid of you switching around. But I mean, if you're sitting there in an area and you're just not feeling it, how are you going to do a good job at it? And how are you going to have that energy that you need when you run into someone when you're just not feeling it? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I would switch areas. I'd kind of take like a couple minutes to clear my head, and then I'd go to a new spot and basically, in essence, start fresh again. So, maybe you don't necessarily change areas. Maybe you take a couple minutes to clear your head and then go back to it, so then you can start in a fresher state than you are going to be in as you continue on. And that's kind of a thing that you could use in any kind of work. And I think bosses should be able to take value in that. It's like taking like 2 minutes to clear your head so that you can work a lot better for like the next hour. And that would probably save them a lot of money, because you'll be able to work a lot better and a lot more efficiently, because you're not sitting there still drooling in whatever piss poor puddle that you were just sitting in. You were able to take time to clean up a little bit and take inventory, get yourself kind of dusted off a little bit more, and then get back to it. And that's kind of an important thing to be able to do, because sometimes you just have that day where it's just going on and on and on. And being able to take a little bit of time to do that can do a lot for the work output. So, again, whether it's doors and you need to change your area in order to kind of get in that better mental state, or you just need to take a couple minutes so that you can hit at the doors again, or whatever job you're doing, whether you're dealing with old people or whatnot, I think that's important, is to be able to take that time to take inventory, figure out what you could do away with for the moment in your head, and then try and push forward after that. Because we don't seem to do that a lot. We just kind of let it hang and hold, and then we head home and bring that attitude back home. And it's like, taking time to decompress can do a lot for the people around us.